Guess what? Today we'll use Claude AI to build an application that would allow a store manager to log in and then enter a prompt and generate a store that would include 10, 15 sample products and some common pages like contact us or about us. And we have only 1 hour to do it. So let's see how far we can get. Here is the list of features that we'll try to achieve within this 1 hour session. And it'll boil down to basically what I just described. And there'll be ability to browse the stores for regular users. And here is the real juice of how we can accomplish this in the approach here. The trick is to build these features one by one and then verify that they're all working and then commit the changes to your Git repo so you can easily back off if AI gets confused, loses context, starts hallucinating, and all these deficiencies of AI that we know that are easily managed with this approach. So let's waste no time. And with this repository, I have just empty Node.js application that is already running and serving output into this file that we can that AI can just troubleshoot if something goes wrong. So let's start Claude, and then let's just get right to it. Okay, start of the prompt. Let's start building this application. Period. Check the README file and start on the first feature. Period. Make sure to follow the approach, period. End of the prompt. Let's fix spelling here, README, and enter. Okay, it's reading README and then checking out the repository, learning about it. Okay, here it's created to-dos for itself, how it thinks it should approach building out the first feature. And let's check out the page. So far, actually, okay, it's proposing first file edit, and I'll just say yes, and then don't ask me next time when you need to add files. Now let's check the application real quick. Port 3000. Okay, yeah, this is just the empty Next.js application at the moment. So let's see, with the first feature, what are we building for the first feature? The login system. The store manager needs to log in first. All right, it says that it implemented basic authentication state management. Okay, is it actually going to use authentication library like Next.auth or something? Not quite sure at this moment, but it's suggesting more edits. Now it's running npm run build to make sure it did not introduce any errors with its code. Okay, no errors. I'm very eager to see what it came up with at the first implementation. Now it says I gotta log in with these credentials. admin@store.com and then admin123, and then there will be protected manager path where I should be able to see some things. Okay, let's give it a try. All right, something is wrong here, and that's likely because I need to restart the session, the serving session. And for now, let me just run npm run dev like that without outputting it into the log file, just for simplicity. Okay, now refresh. Missing required components. Okay, it's at port 3001. There you go, store manager login, and I copied the email. I did not copy it anymore. Here it is, admin@store.com, and then it's admin123, login, and now here's the prompt to create my own store. Okay, this looks good. So is that all it added? I imagine it created the main page where the manager enters the prompt. I think this looks good. I'll say this looks good. Is it going to be smart enough to understand that it's time to log in, to commit and push to Git? Yeah, okay, it's doing some Git checks here. It's adding changes to Git, and now it wants to do the commit. I'll say, yeah, don't ask me each time you want to do commit, just do it. And now it's going to Git push. Yes, just Git push, it's fine. Don't ask me next time. All right, now it says it's ready for the next feature. Okay, start of the prompt. Let's do the next feature. Okay, it created a list of to-dos for itself to implement the feature. Implement store creation, form submission with prompt processing. I never mentioned that I want to use OpenAI API for the AI integration here. So is it going to assume that, or let's see. I see that it's implementing local storage for storing the stuff temporarily, which is good. Okay, so far it's built the store page, the about page, and the context page. Taking it a while, 266 seconds so far, but it's getting down to the last bit. All right, it's doing npm run build. Let's see if it did it without any errors, and then we'll see if it works at all. Okay, it says it's ready. I have no idea if it's going to actually work through API or whatever the approach it chose. So here I'll say, here I don't want to type in my prompt each time. So here I'll say, to test it, could you please add sample prompt boxes on the main page so I don't have to type in the prompt each time I want to test this. End of the prompt. And now it's adding the samples. Okay, back to the app. I see the samples. Let's say text store. It added the prompt, and I'm going to open the network tab here just to keep an eye on the request. And let's see what happens. Generate store. Click that. Oh, and it did generate that immediately without making any request to OpenAPI. I wonder how it was able to achieve this. Is it some kind of a preset functionality? But otherwise this looks good. So let me get back to it. All right, start of the prompt. I see that generating the store is an instant action, period. In reality, this should work by making a request to OpenAI API to fill in the data for the template, period. Specifically, it should generate the copy for the contacts page and about page and the information for each product in the product sample catalog. End of the prompt. Enter. All right, now it's working on integrating with OpenAI. Okay, now it finished here, and if it installed it correctly, it says that it also updated the README, where we need to run npm install first. Let's do that in this window. Okay, and then create env local file, or rename this one env example, call it env local, and then add our OpenAPI key, for which we can go to the OpenAPI dashboard, generate a new key. We'll call this Claude store, create the secret, copy, paste it here. I'll make sure to disable this key after this video. And then let's see what else is in the README. And then just run npm run dev. Okay, we can do that here. There's some 404 errors. Not sure if it's relevant, but let's go check the app. So this is store generation, and let me keep an eye on the network tab. We'll say generate the coffee shop. This is the prompt. Now generate the store, and this is an error. Didn't quite work exactly. It says OpenAI API key is not configured. Okay, let's copy this error and enter it here. Let's see how good Claude AI is with fixing its own errors. It's checking that env local file is there. Now it's fixing the code that reads the information with the API key, and it's making edits. We'll see if it will work. Okay, restart the dev server, refresh the app. Let's try to generate the store again. How do I get to that page? We'll say create new store, and then fashion boutique, sure. All right, it's doing something. There is the pending API request, so that's promising. And it didn't throw an error immediately, so it must be communicating with real thing. And look at this. This was the response from the code, and it created content. It responded with the content. I see the stuff in there. Okay, so let's see. This was generated store. If we click on view store, it has the products. So these are all AI generated from OpenAPI. Must be, right? If I look for this text in the code base, it wouldn't be there, right? Yeah, it is not in the code base. That means it came from the API as part of the generating the store. All right, this is looking good so far. One thing is a little weird here, I noticed, is that to view the store, this is just /store. So what if I generate another one? If I go back, how do I go back to the admin panel here? Let's open a new tab. Login. It doesn't remember the login. So there are a couple of things to address. First, we'll fix the login so it persists between different tabs. Here, let's generate another store. We'll say create new store and we'll pick organic market. Click generate and it generated the store, but I don't see my previous store. That's the problem. So let's address this. Still not ready for the commit. So here we're going to start a new prompt. One problem I see is that when I generate a new store, it overrides the existing store, period. The manager panel should allow me to generate as many stores as I want, and then I can visit them through unique URL paths. End of the prompt. Hit enter. Let's see if it can address that. All right, it took a few minutes, and when it did npm run build, it encountered an error, and now it's fixing the error. That's where it is beneficial to have this approach where after it thinks it completed something, have it to execute the code, and if it sees the error, it just goes and fixes it itself. Okay, now it says it's ready for us to check the store management system. Now we are at the page to generate stores. Okay, so let's do organic market one more time. Generate the store. So again, here it goes OpenAI API. Okay, and it generated the store. Now if I click view store, what happens here? Okay, it did some kind of under the hood JavaScript based redirect because when I hover over it, it doesn't show the link to the store. But okay, that's fine. And this is the store with AI generated products. There's a view all products. Interesting. Or if I click here, yeah, maybe that's not a working button yet. But anyway, this is looking good. There's each store now has unique ID, and we can manage the stores. Does the delete button work? And it's gone. Yeah, there you go. This is good. Now let's create two stores. First, coffee shop. Okay, and now here's the button to create another store. Let's say home decor. Generate store. All right, here's the another store, and you can view them individually. Yeah, this is the separate store with its own color scheme, and I don't think there's any browsing capability yet or adding to the cart. This will be separate, but so far this is looking good. Let's check our feature list. So far, or actually before we do the feature list, let's tell it that everything looks good and we can make another commit. This looks, actually let me do it this way. Start of the prompt. This looks good. Let's do the commit and figure out which is the next feature to do. End of the prompt, hit enter. All right, code is committed and pushed, and now it's trying to figure out what to do next. It's talking about product management system, which is part of the store manager can manage products, adding, deleting, and editing the products. Yeah, that's essential. As a store manager, I want to go check into the store and to be able to add and delete these products. Let's see how it's going to build it. Yes, let's do that. That was my prompt, and now it's going to go on probably for a couple of minutes and do its thing. Let's see what happens. Okay, that was under 2 minutes. It did that. Let's see what it actually did. Let's go to, all right, it added this manage products button. Let's click here, and here's the list of products, and for each I can edit, which provides me the title. Let's just add 2 here, and then save update product, and now it updated it. Okay, how about deleting it? Let's delete this first one, organic Ethiopian blah blah blah, and it's gone. All right, nice. Next, add new product. Not quite, well actually sometimes it takes a bit. It doesn't use like direct links. It uses JavaScript stuff. So add new product doesn't work. Are there any errors we can share? Not here. How about the browser console? Oh, look at this. I think this is something that we need to fix immediately. What's the best way? I'm trying to copy this, but I'll just say that I'll copy this URL, and then Before I can test this functionality, actually, I should say that this is the start of the prompt. Before I can test this functionality, we need to fix a bug where when in the browser, the app constantly makes requests against URLs that look like this. Paste the URL and then also fix this misspelling. Okay, and now end of the prompt. Okay, it figured it's some problem with the product image reference, and now it's fixing it up. Oh, look at this. It has a nifty thing where it says how much context is left within this session, which is pretty impressive because I've been using this session for a while and it's still, there's 30%, 31% of context left. But once it runs out, it'll forget most of the things and it'll has to start over, which is good where we have the milestone by milestone approach with individual Git commits, because that way you can just keep track of your progress through Git history and documentation updates and just start new fresh sessions easily. Okay, now it says it fixed the images. Let's see what happened here. Refresh the page. Okay, it added some placeholders. That's better, as long as it doesn't do what it was doing before. Now we can go back to testing the product management functionality. This add new product button. Let's see. If I click that, it still doesn't work. Now, is there anything helpful in the console? No. Okay, nothing happens. I could go ahead and troubleshoot it myself, but so far when I tell it that something doesn't work, it's being quite good at fixing it. So, start of the prompt. When I click on the add new product button, nothing happens. End of the prompt. Fix misspelling here, and then enter. I like how it posts its own reasoning where it sees, it checks its code and then it finds something and it says, no, that's fine. This function is already correct. Let me test the build to make sure if it works. And then it does the build and it looks correct. So let's go ahead and test that. Click this. All right, it pops the form. Let me hide the inspector. And here we can create new product test, category test, description test, price 1, 2, 3, image URL, let's do nothing, add product, and did it do it? Where is it? Search for test. Here it is. It's at the end of the list, and we can edit it. Click edit. Clicking edit does nothing. Okay, can we delete it? It probably would delete it, but here, can I edit this one? Oh, is it? I see. It's little. When I click edit, it does this form up top instead of using like pop-up or taking me to a separate form. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Would be probably easy to fix, but it's not something that we need to worry about it. So I edited to test 2 and it did edit. So now we have a full management of the products. Let's see. I think the last major bit in this functionality is now, here we did everything. Store management is all complete. And we verified that the user can browse the store without logging in. Okay, I am logged in here. Can I visit the store? Actually, I am not in the store, I'm in the product management. To view the store, it's this button. And here I see the error. Is it because I need to restart the dev server? Yeah, I needed to restart the dev server. So yeah, I'm viewing the store. There's no any kind of session information here. So I assume if I just open this in incognito browser, no, it says a store not found. You know why? Because it uses local storage, and in incognito, there's a fresh local storage in the browser, so it's not there. All right, so I think that's fine. Let's just move on to the part where as a user, I should be able to buy something out of this store. What happens right now if I click on add to cart? Nothing happens. All right, so let's finish up our previous thing. Let's say start of the prompt. Everything looks good. Let's do the commit and push, and then move on to building the shopping cart functionality. End of the prompt, hit enter, let it do the business. Okay, it created a list of shopping cart functionality here that it will go through. Let's see how long it'll take for it. All right, so this feature is taking a little bit longer, and I'm worried that it's running out of the context, and it might run out of the context in the middle of building this, which won't be good because it'll forget half of the stuff it did around this feature. Even though it'll post a summary for itself, it'll still might blow it up, which where doing commits for each feature might be helpful. We will be able to just revert whatever it did and start over with the fresh session, telling it just, pick up whatever this app was left the last time. All right, now it thinks that it got close and it's running npm run build to check for errors. Let's see what happens then. No errors. Let's restart the dev server and click around. Let's go back to the home page let's see. Let me start from the root path and gotta log in one more time. We'll see if we have time to fix this login issue. But here are the stores, and if we visit one of the stores here, okay, here's a shopping cart icon here, and let's see what happens. Add to shopping cart. There was no visual indication that anything happened, so this is something to be improved. But if we visit the shopping cart, okay, that's a nice side panel showing that we have the thing. Let me add something else. Add one of those things. Here's the shopping cart. Okay, it added here. What if I add more items? Yeah, it looks like it properly calculates the total. And then can I delete one of those? Yep, completely gone. Now let me re-add it real quick. And let's go through the checkout flow. Clicking checkout, nothing happened. Is it expected? There are no errors in the console. Let me click one more time. Nothing happens. Okay. Are there any errors in the output? No, there are not. Okay. So at this point, I think it was not supposed to build the checkout process yet. I think it just did the add to cart thingy. Modifying quantities, yeah. It added global state management and all that stuff. Yeah, this is good. I'll say this looks okay. Start of the prompt. This looks good. Let's commit and push, and then I'll start a fresh session with a fresh context amount. End of the prompt, hit enter. Let it do the GitHub business. Okay, it finished. Now I'm just going to kill this session, start another Claude session here, and do one last prompt. Let me just make sure that, okay, one last feature is the checkout flow. Start of the prompt. Now let's finish building the very last feature of this application, which is the checkout flow, period. You can check the README file for the approach and the previously built features, period. Okay, now let's fix this typo. I need to pronounce it a little bit better. Okay, and the end of the prompt and hit enter. Now it'll take a little bit of time to get familiar with the code base. And let's see what it will build for the checkout flow. All right, it finished building it, running npm run build, no errors. And now it wants me to test the functionality. I'll restart the dev server. I wish I didn't need to do that each time, but for some reason it just doesn't quite work if I don't restart it. Now refresh the page with the store. Okay, now I still have items in the shopping cart. Now clicking on the checkout button. All right, now it took me to the checkout page and it looks pretty good. The colors are slightly odd, but these are the colors generated by AI based on the prompt and the template. Now here it has the order summary, and it will accept the information. And if I try to, let's see, can I type in something real quick? Okay, now I filled out some dummy info. Click place order. Okay, it says processing order and then the confirmation page and the redirect back to the store. This is pretty awesome. I imagine that when it comes time to plugging in the real payment system, it wouldn't be as much trouble. It'll install some kind of SDK from Shopify or whatever, and then it'll just plugging it in into the existing flow that it created. So let's finish the last bit here. This looks good. Let's git commit and push. All right, now let's just visit the GitHub page for fun. Check the commits. These are all the commits. These are the ones that we did during this session, and the other ones were just some initial setup that I did. And look, it has a little Claude code icon as the committer. Interesting. Showing that we did it together and that it wasn't just me, or like I was just prompting it and it built a whole thing, which is very impressive. Keep in mind that this is purely a front-end application. We build it just the front end, and there's no any kind of API. But it shouldn't be hard to extract this functionality, whatever is supposed to go in the API. Claude code should be able to pretty easily to move it into the API level. And for POC, or for proof of concept, this is pretty amazing result. This is obviously not ready for any kind of production deployment. There'll be lots of work to do before get it ready. But this is something that for me could have taken weeks to build in the old days. But now, just under an hour, you have a whole lot of functionality that you should be able to verify very early on if it's working or not, if you're trying to build some product, and then just go from there. All right, this was good. Let me know what was your experience with Claude code, and we'll see what we can build next.